Boulderers are probably the most annoying people in the rock climbing community, and there's good reason for that. Well, either boulderers or trad climbers. If you don't know what trad climbing is, it's like lead climbing, but you shit on everybody else for not lead climbing right. And I know some of you are sitting there like, hey, aren't you a boulderer? What are you talking about? Like, yeah, that's how I know how annoying we are. Because I have to deal with that shit every day. And if you're like, well, why don't you go outside and do some lead, and then you can, shed the label of indoor boulderer, and then everyone will, hail you as a hero amongst the rock climbing community for being, part of the elite group. I like to strive for the top of whatever field I'm in. And if the top of the field for lead climbing looks like this, I'm not fucking doing that. No. Climbing 1,000 feet in the air above jagged rocks. Have you seen what the best boulderers look like? It's the same shit, just harder, with a nice cushy pad still there. No risk of death. So, I'll probably stick with that. So basically everybody in every discipline of climbing, speed climbers, lead climbers, trad climbers, outdoor purists, boulders, obviously, they all use the indoor bouldering wall. Everybody has to use these walls, and everybody has to get along, but it doesn't always happen that way. Now, I'd like to say that everybody has their flaws, but let's be honest, the main problem is the boulderers. But being an indoor boulderer, I know I have a responsibility to call the rest of you indoor boulderers out, because everybody's got to share the bouldering walls, and they got to deal with us. So let's get into the things that actually make indoor boulderers so annoying. First thing, peacocking. If you don't know what peacocking is, it's basically just anything to get attention. All the other climbing disciplines, they don't really care about how good they are at bouldering. They're just there to get better at whatever they want to do. If you climb trad, lead, speed, you're only on the bouldering wall to get better at what you're doing. You don't really care about the bouldering. But for boulderers, you're in our territory. Some of the most common signs of peacocking are climbing stuff that's way too hard for you, but pretending normally you can do it. You see this a lot where the guy's, kind of peeking on like a V3, V4, he's really struggling to send that crux move, but then, somebody else comes in and they're climbing V5. So, of course, the V4 guy has to scooch on over to the V6 and start acting like he's frustrated that he can't get the moves that he's never done before. And then they yell stuff out like, oh, what's wrong with me today? I always get that.
There you go.
Or they'll hop on like a V7 that has a bunch of like V3 moves in it and just avoid the crux moves. Like they'll find a V7 that has a crux at the start, so they'll just kind of go to the second move and start there to make it look like they're projecting it, but really it's because they can't do the V7 moves on the V7 boulder. A good peacocker relies on you not knowing how boulders are set. This ties into another really annoying thing, which is people climbing projects way above their grade. Now, the whole point of bouldering is to have fun. So I'm not saying you can't like go in and climb stuff if you want to. Obviously, if you see a V11 that looks cool and you climb V3, go ahead. You probably won't have very much fun, but sure. I myself have done this in the past as well, right? I was climbing V3, maybe V4 at the time, seeing some V7s or V8s and being like, I could try that. The problem that comes with this though, is you get your greasy hands all over the holds and now nobody can climb it. It's almost like an act of spite when like a V4 climber gets on like the V11 that's like a sloper problem and they just don't use chalk at all, so their hands are all greasy and sweaty and they're just slapping the slopers over and over again, and they gotta try every move on the boulder, and by the time they're done, there's just no friction left on any of the slopers. They're like, if I can't have it, no one will. So let's say for a second that this is a climbing hold, right? See all the beautiful friction there, right? Like you got all the little detail, and that's like, that's what makes it so you can grab it and squeeze it. You need that friction, otherwise you're just grabbing this, right? And there's nothing. And this is your dead chalky skin, right, when you've chalked up. So we got all this dead skin and we just, we're grabbing it, we're moving it, all that, but it comes right off. See, that's why you use chalk. Now this is your rancid, nasty, fucking non-chalked skin, right? And then, you're grabbing this thing, you're moving, you're jiving, doing your thing. And now you got all these little fucking pieces of disgusting skin just stuck in there, and they're not coming out. I mean, this problem's so bad, I probably just broke the speaker. This thing might not even work anymore. That's how serious this problem really is. The other version of peacocking that's commonly seen that only indoor boulderers do is watching somebody struggle on something, and you just have to let them know that you can do that boulder. You just can't let it go. The nicer version of this that people will do that's still annoying is giving people beta. Rule of thumb, if somebody doesn't ask you for beta, they don't want your beta for the problem. It's not fun to get the beta unless you're like super frustrated and then you're like, all right, give me that sweet beta. This one's a little bit harder to cipher out because some people are just really nice and maybe a little bit more extroverted, right? And they just want to talk and they're like, hey man, like you should try a heel hook. And I'm like, hey man, shut the fuck up and let me work on the problem. The third version of peacocking that you see is showing off for the ladies. You know, the guy that's had his shirt on the whole time because it's already cold in the gym because it's the middle of January. But then some chicks show up and they want to climb and all of a sudden he gets really hot. He's like, why do I have my shirt on still, guys? Like, oh, the chicks just came. I didn't even notice. Like, I just want to take it off because I'm boiling up. He's off in the corner just getting hypothermia. You always see guys like with a chick that's really into climbing and she'll be like really good, like struggling on like a V7 that's actually pretty hard. And then he'll go and like slap his way up the V7 and barely send it and be like, yeah, I impressed her. It's like, she knows you have a Y chromosome, dude. Like, it's all good. You'll never see guys in the gym try harder on a problem than if a woman comes in and sends that problem. It's like guys will be doing like a V4 and then some chick will come in and just send a V7 and they'll be like, must be easy. Now that we've gotten done with the peacocking, we got a few more things that boulderers do that are really annoying. Second thing boulderers do that's very annoying, being loud. This one hits a little bit close to home for me because I'm a very loud person myself. People tell me I don't have an indoor voice. I do have an indoor voice, I just choose not to use it. If you're ever in the gym and you're wondering who's screaming at each other from 2 feet away from one another, it's probably boulderers. Lead climbers will literally be talking to their belayer from 40 feet up in the air at a reasonable volume, quieter than the boulderers who are 4 feet away from one another. I don't know what it is about bouldering that affects your hearing so much, but we gotta yell. Third thing boulderers do is annoying, flat bills. They all gotta wear them. I don't know why. Every boulderer wears flat bill hats. I don't like flat bills in the first place. Don't see why you need to wear one while you're climbing. Fourth thing boulderers do that's annoying, talking about how good they'd be at lead climbing if they actually did it. All boulderers seem to have their own version of a conversion chart between bouldering and lead climbing, and it's always extremely generous of what their lead climbing abilities would be. Some guy sends his first V5, he's like, dude, you know what the equivalent of V5 is in lead? That's like 513. It is not 513. Just because you can send a V7 indoors doesn't mean that if you would put that time into lead, you'd all of a sudden be in the Olympics. To put it in perspective, the hardest bouldering I've done is like V8, and the hardest I've ever sent on lead is like 512. Also, if you think you can climb 513, go climb 513. Like instead of being like, that, if I just sent this, I can climb 513, go do it then, or shut up. I have to admit, this is another one I've done in the past because I found a little conversion chart myself and it was like V5, V6, that's 512. And I was like, holy shit, that's really good. Next annoying thing, I forgot what number I was on, standing on the mat, looking at the boulder for too long. For some reason, boulderers always think people want to see them doing the comp climbing sign language. No, you don't have to stand on the mat right under the entire bouldering wall to do that. It'll be like the day after a reset when the gym is packed and some guy's just standing right under the problem he just fell on. Just. He's like, go do that back there. You don't gotta block the whole wall. There was a guy the other day, there was a brand new reset. Tons of people are trying to climb. He had his fucking AirPods in, he couldn't hear anything. And he's just standing there doing that for, I shit you not, like an entire minute. If there's people waiting and you're done with your boulder, get the fuck off the mat. Sixth thing, I think, climbing under people. You would think this one wouldn't be in the category of annoying things boulderers do, it would be in annoying things new climbers do, right? No. In the past year, I've had multiple times where people who climbed like V7 or V9 even, just hopped on the wall under me and started climbing. And you know, we've all gone up and kind of, you know, leaned on our boulder while the guy's right there, and you've seen him fall on that crux move 4 times now. You know he's not making it past it again, so you're getting ready to go. Recently, there was a guy who was stronger than me climbing like V8s, V9s, who just hopped on the wall while I was doing like a pretty hard V8 that I had a pretty good chance of falling on. I don't know if he was just being super motivational, like, you got this, bro, you're not falling again. But then part of me is like, maybe he's just a moron. Like maybe he just got this far and got this good at climbing by climbing underneath people all the time. But he literally did it like 3 more times to other people, and he would just hop on the wall either right under them or right next to them, and he'd be grabbing like handholds like right next to their foot, like he's playing fucking Twister, reaching around people climbing up the wall. And he's not the only one. I've seen a few of you out there doing that before. Don't think you're exempt. Last thing boulderers do that's annoying. This is one that I personally, you know, this is my bread and butter. I love this one. I do it all the time. Making everything into a dyno. My friend and I will take every boulder in the entire gym and find some way to turn it into a dyno. Boulderers, you know, we have no code of ethics. You know, we'll dyno anything. We'll dyno your project. We'll dyno our own project. We'll dyno your mom. Dynoing is the staple of indoor bouldering. It's basically the one thing that makes everyone hate it so much, aside from us, the actual climbers. So those are the reasons the boulderers are so annoying. And I know some of you out there are like, hey, you know, that stuff is annoying, but like, I don't do that. I would never do any of that stuff. Come here, I got something to tell you. Yeah, you fucking do. We all do it. Don't act like you don't do it. We've all done at least one of these things before, or all of them. We're the black sheep of the climbing community. You know, we'll break into your house and steal your beta, you know, whatever it takes to send the next boulder. But to even this video out, you know, for my own people, you know, I gotta support the indoor boulders. Flood the comments with annoying shit that everybody else does, huh? Why don't we even this out a little bit? Go in there and be like, hey, you know, speed climbers, that's all it's gonna be for some reason. But, you know, speed climbers, trad climbers, because ironically, I already know the main thing people are gonna be annoyed about with this video isn't gonna be shitting on indoor boulders. It's gonna be the one joke at the beginning about trad climbers. I know what trad climbing is, okay? It was a joke, you moron.
Almost heaven, Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain.